My name is George Muturi, founder of Comfort Worms and Insects. We are based in Kaga, that is in Kamburu Ward, Rari Sub-County, Kiambu County. And at Comfort Worms and Insects, we majorly deal with worms, that is red worms. And also we deal with the black soldier flies, we deal with azora, we have chicken, rabbits, and also we have fish. So in this farm, we are majoring into organic agriculture and regenerative agriculture, and also taking care of the agroecology. And our main focus currently is on vermicomposting, where we are breaking down a lot of waste from the farms and from animal waste, that is cow dung, and pig or rabbits. And at the end of the whole process, we are able to come up with vermicompost, which we have here as the final product that now is being used as an organic fertilizer, basically from the earthworms. And the whole process starts off by having such a unit or any other kind of unit. We have a number of units that we use. One, we have the bed system, which we have at this farm. And a bed system is ideally what we can see here. It's a unit made out of either timber. We can make it from plastic drums. And after having that unit, we introduce the materials that we want to compost or to break down. And ideally we must have three kind of waste. One, it's plant waste that is dry. That is a dry matter from either leaves, hay, any kind of dry matter that comes from the farm. Then secondly, we must have animal waste. So in the category of animal waste, we have a variety of animal waste that we can use. One, we have cow dung, we have sheep, goat, rabbits, or pig manure, but we exclude chicken manure from that. And the reason as to why we don't use chicken manure, it's the ammonia levels and also the level of temperatures when it starts to break down. So we can use any other apart from chicken manure. Then from that, the third item that we use, it's green waste. So green waste can come in from a variety of waste from the farm. It's either the leftovers from the farm, that is either vegetables or cabbages or spinach, that kind of waste. Secondly, we have a selection of the kind of green matter that we use, majorly coming from Tithonia diversifolia. We use Russian comfrey, which is a vegetable. We use amaranth, also, which is vegetable. So this kind of waste are rich in different minerals, majorly nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And when we incorporate that in the breakdown of this compost, we get a higher quality compost compared to a case if we didn't use that. So that is the kind of setup that we put in place. Then after that, we now introduce the worms, because the whole process won't take place or won't happen if we don't have worms in place. So we introduce the worms, and in one of these units, we use at least 5 kgs of worms. Then the worms still will populate at the end of the day, but once we put in place the 5 kgs, they will be able to break this kind of, or this amount of waste in one bed within a period of 6 to 8 weeks. So mwezi moja na nusu hadi miezi miwili, they'll be ready, or the compost will be ready for us now to come in and start sieving or start separating, so that now we have at the end of the process, we have three outputs that we get. One, it's the fine compost, which now we use at the farms. Second, we get the worms separate, plus any uncomposted materials. And also, to top on that, we have some eggs of the worms, also together with the uncomposted materials plus the worms. So ideally, that is what takes place during this process. Once we have that in place, now we have a compost that we can use on the farms as an organic fertilizer without incorporating a lot of synthetic fertilizers. Then on the other hand, we find that we are managing waste because we are using a lot of waste. Currently in this farm we are using 50 tons of raw cow dung every 6 to 8 weeks. Then we are able to harvest at least 24 tons of that compost or of the vermicompost within the same period of 6 weeks. So that is the whole process of vermicomposting and vermiculture. And when we are going through this process, there are a number of things that we put in place or we have to look at. One, we have to look at the safety of the worms, because the worms have a specific condition where we have to keep them. One, we put them in a place where there is a shade, making sure that they don't, or when it rains, it does not access in the unit, or when there is too much sun, it does not also affect the worms in the process, in the composting process. So that is one, putting a shade for them. Then second, we have to keep in mind that worms have predators because they are natural elemental microorganisms. So also they have natural enemies or predators. So when we have that in mind, we put units in place or beds in place, putting in mind that we have to deal with predators within or according to how we construct our units. So the units that we have here, they have containers which help us to put away or to make sure that predators or do not access, because the biggest predator for our worms are the safari ants, which is a big threat. So once we put these plates, then we put in old engine oil, we are able to manage that or deal with that. So then we have birds. Birds also are a predator, but we find that birds are not a big threat, because the worms or the birds can get the worms if they are able to see them. So most of the time looking at these units, you may think that there are no worms just by the look of the eyes, but the worms are sensitive to light. So when there is light, they hide. So during the night you might find them on top, but very early in the morning they go back to hiding. So the birds are not able to come and eat our worms just by the idea of that the worms will be able to hide. When we focus or we look at the climate aspect when we come into vermicomposting, one of the biggest challenge that have been affecting us is that due to the industrialization and growth in terms of farming, you find that farmers are either producing in mass, so at a certain point there is a lot of wastages. Or on the other side, we find that we have large-scale livestock producers who have a lot of cow dung or sheep manure, and they are not able to manage that. So in the long run, that will affect the environment by the emissions that they release. So when we come into vermicomposting, this process is able to curb that, because we correct that waste before it breaks down. So the process is now taken through by the worms, the microorganisms themselves. So that emission or releasing of the greenhouse gases is curbed by the aspect of using the worms to break down this waste, this organic waste. And also on the other aspect is that the minerals or nutrients that would have gone to waste in the landfills or if not managed well, we are able to recycle that back into the soils and work towards being more food secure. That is in where we bring these nutrients back into the soil, we find that the farmer will be able to produce more within maybe a small space, and they will be able to be more food secure. And like when a farmer, for example, produces cow dung, they just take it to the farm directly without even composting, without breaking down. And you find that the farmer will do a lot of work transporting that and bring that back to the farm, but it does not give the farmer the results that should be there, or the expected results. But through the composting process, or for example, the system of using maybe a biogas to break down that kind of waste, and now using the bioslurry to fertilize the soil, gets to be much better as compared to just taking the manure, the raw manure and composted manure to the farm. So that is the whole aspect, or the whole idea of taking care of the environment and managing the release of the excess gases into the environment. The biggest challenge that have been there, it has been the knowledge gap, whereby the farmer, the youth groups, or the farmer groups do not access the information that needs to get them so that they can be able to either produce this or be sustainable within themselves. And now what we have come in to do is, one, to educate the farmer, to train the farmers, to train the youth groups, to empower them with the trainings, helping them to initiate such programs or projects within their farms or institutions. So that is the idea that we have, and we have been implementing that for some time now. We have been working with different organizations to train farmers, to help them start these small projects within their farms. And it's something that most of the farmers are able to uptake, because as you have said, this project is not complex in terms of implementation. As far as the farmer has the waste within their farm, you don't need to go buying a lot of, to buy either food for them, like other livestock animals, the way we do that. For the worms, it's just you have the waste within your farm, you have the waste within even people in the urban areas. We have people within the urban areas who are keeping worms within their balcony, just by the use of a bucket and any kind of kitchen waste that comes from there. That is the potato peelings, fruit waste, they put in there. Within a period of 2 months, the process or the process have gone down, and we have a compost from that. So that is something that we have been encouraging most of the farmers, the youths, training them, helping them to start off, and giving them the warmth to start and implement. And it's something that most, or I would encourage even the youth to take up, because also it's a growing business. We started off without having a place to take the compost. We used at the farm, within this farm. Then we started doing a lot of social media trainings, showing the farmer what is happening with the worms, how the worms help in different ways. And currently now we have people who keep on buying this to use in their farms. So it's a business. Also, farmers can be able, the youth can be able to start off and implement. The challenge of dung or cow dung disposal have been happening mostly within, let's say, within Kiambu County, because we have most of the dairy producers within this region. And what we have been doing, one, at this farm, I have mentioned that we use 50 tons of dung within a period of 2 months. And all of these is what we have been buying from farmers within this area. And what also we are planning to do, it's to go even beyond this village, Kaga village, and look for farmers within Githunguri, within Kiambu, and see if we get space within that area, we'll be able to manage that waste within that area, create employment opportunities for youth within that area, and also make or manage that waste within that area. So that is something that we have been working on. And also we would encourage the youth, if you see cow dung, that is an opportunity. If you see waste within your area, that is an opportunity. So work or think how you can be able to manage that. Consult. We are free to share ideas. We are free to support, start something like this and grow. So it's something that I would encourage everyone. You have cow dung, you have space that you can be able to come up with that. These units or units that we can advise, then this is something that one can be able to take up and start and grow. So Comfort Worms and Insect is based here in Kaga, where we are majorly producing. We have another unit in a place called Iriaini, just adjacent, so also for the same purpose of production. And what we do, it's that we produce from here and then we are able to distribute to farmers within Kiambu, Nairobi regions. We go even to Nakuru, Embu, Murang'a. So all these places we are able to access during through different channels. So we are able to supply the vermicompost, the worms, or any of our services through these channels or different channels, and we are able now to reach out to farmers through this. When we produce the vermicompost, after we get the cow dung and the whole process, we are able now to get the vermicompost and we sell it at an average of 50 shillings per kg. And mostly we package our vermicompost in 50 kg bags, then 20 kg bags. So a bag of 50 kgs, we sell it at 2,500. What mostly you see out there as waste, as dung, it's what we have here is pure gold. We call it pure gold vermicompost, which now can change your farming methods, your production, and also can put something in your pocket.
Kumsikiliza huyo bingwa akifanya kazi yake, George Muturi amesema kwa undani kabisa kwamba kama una samadi ambayo kwako nyumbani unaona kwamba itakuwa mzigo, basi itakuwa radhi wewe utumie kule. Anageuza dira sana, tumeona akichambua, akichuja na baadaye kuchanganua ili atumie kule shambani. Amesema kitu kimoja kwamba baadaye ukifuata utaratibu ambao unafaa, basi mfukoni au tatifuka, kutakuwepo na hela kwenye mfuko wako. Bila shaka unaendelea kutazama kipindi cha Kenya's Gold, kipindi ambacho kinakufunza mengi kabisa kuhusiana na kilimo bila wasiwasi. Viti viwili, kumaanisha kwamba maarifa mengi kweli kweli kutoka wachanganuzi ambao wanafahamu sana kuhusiana na kile tunaita vermicompost. Bila wasiwasi kwenda popote, shikilia kalamu yako, karatasi, uandike ili utekeleze baadaye, kwa sababu najua hapa utasoma sana. Wapo unatafuta mbolea ya kutumia shambani kama njia mbadala ya kukwepa kile kununua dukani, basi hapa itakuwa rahisi usome. Na sisi tuende mapumzikoni sasa, tukirejea kungali kuna mengi. Usibonyeze kidubashi chako, salia nasi.